Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Medeaij and today's video is Fenty Beauty Galaxy palette review. Now, before I get into the review, what do you guys think of my fairy tale princess queen? Just got back from fairy tale land. Look. By now you'd have probably already seen this look on Instagram. I was just playing around with makeup and I wanted to show you guys how I use the Fenty Beauty palette as well. So I just used that and I just took some photographs. It was just me playing around with a lot of new makeup that I got so I can kind of gauge how I feel about them. I really want to concentrate on reviews on my channel, so yeah. Let me know what you guys think of this look. My accessories are, of course, from LoyaTobs Creations. Like, do you see how cute that is? That is just blinging. Earrings, bracelets, match, everything. So I'll leave direct links below. You can go check out LoyaTobs Creations. But anyway, without further ado, let's get right into the review. So as you guys, probably some of you already know, on Instagram I posted, or actually my Insta Live or Insta Stories, one of it, can't remember, I posted my first impression about the palette, and that was based on the first day that I actually used the palette. And I used it out to work. I used it for a total of 9 hours, and halfway through the day I just got on my Insta Live and I shared my thoughts with you guys. So before I get into that, I'm just going to obviously show you guys the palette. You guys would have seen a billion and one other reviews and unboxing and all that, but I'm just going to show you the palette. Obviously, you can tell it's got like fingerprint impressions can go on the palette, which I hate. You've also got the names at the back of the palette, which are like, you know, galaxy type of names. And then you've got a massive mirror, and then you've got the shades, which looks like that. Now, according to Harvey Nichols' website, because that is where I got my palette, it talks about the Galaxy palette as one being £39. Let me just get this open up for you guys. The Galaxy palette on Harvey Nichols' website, which is the UK retailer for Fenty Beauty, is £39. And according to the website, because whenever I buy a product, I always like to read the description of how you're actually meant to use a product, just in case. So this product has a description underneath that says that it is a limited edition glitter eyeshadow palette of 14 star-dusted shades that range from sheer glitter top coats to smoky, shimmer-drenched hues designed for accessorizing any eye look. Okay? And then it goes ahead and lists all the names of the colors and kind of what a description of what the colors look like. So when you go on to breakdown, it just talks about the idea behind the Galaxy collection and all that good stuff. And then when you go over to RIHANNA's thoughts, it just talks about what she feels about the Galaxy collection and all that good stuff. And then you now move on to how to use. So on here it says, wear them solo for a sheer to smoky multi-dimensional effect, or layer top coat over any eyeshadow for a brilliant out-of-this-world boost. Artist's pro tip is, for a more intense look, wet your brush. Okay, so it says you can either wear it on its own for a sheer to smoky multi-dimensional look, or you can layer it on top of eyeshadows as a top coat just to give it more of a boost of shine. So yeah, I was like, okay, that's cool. I'm gonna test it on its own just to give it some, you know, beautiful sheer look. So obviously, I tried that. I used the Jaclyn Hill palette to support the look because, as you guys know, this is a full shimmer palette, which means you will always need a supporting act to go with this palette. I do like the fact that it is very, very lightweight, so it's not annoying. If you have to travel with another palette, you can still use that. And plus the mirror is so like clear and gorgeous and all that good stuff. It's such a big mirror, so I don't really mind the fact that it's full shimmer. I actually think that that's a really, really good idea. So I went ahead and I tried to wear the eyeshadow on its own on my lid, and then I used the Jaclyn Hill palette to kind of create like a blue smoky eye. At first I applied it, wasn't applying. I applied it, it wasn't applying. So I was like, actually, let me backtrack a little bit. So I thought about using a base. I know on the website it didn't mention anything about a glitter base or anything like that, but knowing the kind of person I am, and I know shimmer shadows sometimes need a little bit of help, I used my normal eyeshadow primer. I didn't use a glitter base or anything. I was like, I'm just gonna give it its own space to kind of show me what it's got. So I used a normal eyeshadow base, and then I applied the color on my lid. I actually applied the blue color. I'm just angry. I'm not sure how these names appear, but anyway, I used the blue color, and then I applied it the first time, and I didn't see much of an effect. So I kept layering it and layering it, and I still didn't see much of an effect. But I was like, okay, it did say when you apply it on its own, it gives like a sheer coverage. I was like, that's not bad. I mean, in certain lights, it kind of bounces off color, it gives that shine. I'm like, that's cool. I tested it out for a couple of hours, and then I noticed that my crease started kind of breaking. Like, I do have oily lids, and so I use a matte primer, which I have used for every single eyeshadow palette that I have, every single look, with never had a problem. I used it for this Fenty Beauty palette, and my lid was so oily a couple of hours after application. Like, literally, the eyeshadow broke. You could tell the Jaclyn Hill side was still very good, but the Fenty Beauty had seeped into my crease. It had broken up and all that. Needless to say, I was so upset, so disappointed. I went on my Snapchat, I went on my Insta story. I just showed you guys what it looked like, so it's not like I'm tripping or anything. But anyway, that's fine. That went out of the way. While I applied it during the day, I actually also noticed that my eyes were kind of itchy, irritated, but I just thought to myself, maybe I'm just tired, maybe it's just me, so I didn't think anything of it. And then I decided to use this palette for the whole week on top of eyeshadows on its own, different colors. I mean, if I show you guys my palette, you can tell that I have been in this palette. Like, I have dipped my brush in all the shades. I have used every single shade just because I'm like, something has to give. One of these colors has to be all right. So much so that one of the days when I applied it, my husband had to say, are you testing out a new product? Because your eyes look really irritated. And I looked in the mirror, my eyes were red, they were watery, they were itchy, and I felt awful. So I stopped using it on my eyes. So I was like, how can I buy a £39 palette? Supposedly a really, really good quality palette, because the quality of the palette itself, the packaging is gorgeous, good quality, very sturdy, very beautiful. A lot, actually matches my nails. A lot of thought went into the packaging, but how can the formula be so bad? Like, if you guys know me, you know I love glitter, so I know how to work with glitter. Like, I use the base on couple of the days. I used a glitter base, I used a glitter adhesive. It not only irritated my eyes, but it still creased. It still didn't look cute. It still wasn't pigmented. So I just gave up using it on my eyes. I have now resorted to using it on my body for like body art, or I don't know, for just extra oomph, because I am so scared to still use it on my lids. The whole week I used it on my lids. I regretted every single moment of it. I felt so irritated. I've never wanted to take off makeup as fast as that week. That is how bad it was for me. So yeah. To recap, let me just break it down to pros and cons. So one of the pros is the palette is very, very sturdy. You can travel with this palette. The mirror is really great. The packaging is very gorgeous. I absolutely love it for that. For £39, it's not too bad. Most of the other palettes that I have are slightly more expensive, so I don't mind paying £39 for this if it actually worked. Now, those are my only pros. The cons, this palette lasts for only 9 months, and if you guys know, for glitter or for shimmer or anything, it should last a little longer, but because of the formula in this glitter, some of them actually are a bit wet when you apply it in some weird way. They just feel really wet to touch. Like if I actually swatch some of these colors, so I'll swatch this one, you can see that it's not as pigmented as it should be. It's just chunky in some places. Some of them are wet in some places, and so obviously there is something in this palette to keep it in the palette itself. Hence why the expiry date is probably 9 months, so you only get to use this palette for 9 months before it's deemed unsafe for your eyes. The palette itself is marketed as a multi-use palette, which is most of Rihanna's products anyway. That is something I do love about it. I don't like the fact that the colors are quite irritating. Some of them are chunkier, some of them are less pigmented, some of them are really pigmented. I don't like the inconsistency in the palette. I know it's stated that some are used as a top coat, some are packed with glitter, but I believe that they should all act the same and react the same for a glitter, because I don't even regard this as a shimmer palette. I regard it as a glitter palette. Okay, so for me that just didn't gel too well, aside from the fact that there's something in there that irritated my eyes. Like there's just way too many cons about this palette. I think Rihanna needs to rework this palette, and I don't know. The only thing I can use it for, as you can see, I used it down my neck, my body, and it gave that kind of iridescent glow. If I was going to the club, I'll probably use it on my body, but that's about it. I would not use it on my face or in my eyes or on my eyes or something. I would not use it anywhere around my eyes. I would only use it around my neck and just maybe down my chin. But that's just me, and that's how it reacted to me. This is obviously my opinion. This is obviously from my me testing it out. I bought this palette with my own money, my own coins. Unfortunately, in the UK, we cannot return products. If not, I would have returned this product after the week of testing, because to me, it's just useless right now. I've got loads of glitter in my arsenal, but I'm just going to have to reach for this whenever I want some sort of shine on my body, just so I can make use of it. But yeah, anyway, that is what I think about the Fenty Beauty Galaxy palette. I know there's been a lot of reviews on YouTube about this palette. Some of them, well, you could say are lying. Some I'm not too sure what they're using, but anyway, if you guys have a better experience about this palette, please do let me know. Am I doing something wrong? I mean, I've tested it out with a glitter base, with an eyeshadow base, with no base, on top of an eyeshadow. Everything, I've tried it and it still doesn't work, still irritates my eyes. I've looked at the ingredients and there's nothing there that kind of jumps at me that would irritate my eyes, but maybe something was used in more quantity than usually is in other palettes, but I'm not too sure. But anyway, let me know if you've had a better experience, and also let me know if you like this look. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, do me a favor and just go ahead and click the subscribe button. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will catch you guys in another video.